Murder Dictionary podcast. My name is Brianna, and that is Kelly.
Hey.
Yo.
Been trying to meet you.
Oh. Now we're just going to sing for the rest of the podcast. Before we get started, we wanted to remind you to follow us on Facebook.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Instagram and Twitter. If you haven't already rated, reviewed, and subscribed on iTunes, head over and do that as well. We really appreciate that. We also wanted to say thank you to a few new Patreon supporters. This week, we have new Patreon from Mike Brown from Pleasing Terrors podcast.
What? Thanks, Mike Brown.
If you're not listening to Pleasing Terrors, go check it out. It's so good. So good. Highly recommend. The next one we wanted to say thank you to is Amanda and Culture Queen.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Culture Queen.
And Velvel Rider and Pippa Bowen.
Volvo Rider? What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they meant. I'm just going to assume that's what they meant.
Thanks, guys.
So thank you so much to our new Patreon supporters. And the last thing we wanted to remind you of is there's a few things in our description and show notes that you want to look out for. If you want to skip any of the violent parts of the story, you could definitely check out the show notes because we will have some timestamps there. Or if you want to turn the volume up, any of the above.
Do you have giggle timestamps?
Yes, totally giggle timestamps for when it's just too femme for you and you want to check out and go do something masculine. Go build a house or something. Go try and bench everything in your house. You could totally bench my dog, dude.
Go eat everything they want and never gain a pound.
Meat.
Yeah.
Just all the meat time. So we have timestamps just in case you wanted to skip over those parts. We will also have links to resources for domestic violence and child protective services, suicide hotlines, anti-bullying, a bunch of stuff like that. If you need those resources, just check out those links. And I think that's pretty much it.
Cool.
We can get started.
All right.
We've got kind of a quickie story tonight.
I love quickies. It's easy. I'm tired.
Yeah, just, feeling
feeling
just
crampy.
Get it done. Get in there and get out.
But safely.
I mean, this one's not going to be very safe.
Oh,
but
okay. Well, I'll close my eyes then.
The lights off. The story we have tonight is Letter R Part 2, another rock and roll murder.
Woo.
And this is the band called Beasts of Satan.
Wow.
I mean, you got to get to the point, right?
Yeah.
Let people know what you about.
It'd be like a chinchilla of Satan. like a guinea
Like a
pig.
cute little bunny rabbit of Satan.
Yeah, definitely a beaver. I would just be slapping people with
We
Satan.
are the beavers of Satan.
Just a pentagram on my tail.
That's adorable. I don't know whether to cuddle you or be afraid.
I wear human pelts.
Like the Ed Gein of beavers. So the Beasts of Satan were a group of high school kids that formed their band in the 90s.
Prepubescent beasts.
Right?
Or in puberty.
Puby beasts.
They were in high school. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they're young.
The weird thing about crimes in the 90s that I'm finding is there's not a lot of information. It's like this black hole of true crime. So I have no information about their childhoods. So it's going to make the story a little bit shorter. But it picks up around the early 2000s,
Right.
Then you get a bunch more information and there's a lot more out there. Or if you get an older crime like 70s, 80s, then there's a bunch of info. But this one, you really don't know much. And I don't know if it's the culture because this actually takes place in Italy. So I don't know if it's, versus the American culture or if it's the time period. But sometimes the 90s are kind of hard to track down people's childhoods.
You can figure stuff out right when the web came out, basically.
Yes.
Nothing mattered before the internet.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And then it'll get old enough to where it's vintage and everybody wants to report on it, So I don't really have too much psychology or anything older, information about how they grew up and some of maybe the struggles that they were dealing with leading up to joining the Beasts of Satan. But all these kids met when basically they were just beginning to be these black metal goth kids, kind of outcasts, wearing all black, growing their hair long and all that stuff.
So murderers.
Yes, that's exactly what every murderer looks like. Exactly like Marilyn Manson. No eyebrows anywhere. Not an eyebrow amongst them.
Too much lipstick. Lots of black.
I mean, it's just the right amount of lipstick. Just saying. So they played black metal. Again, were a lot of crimes in the black metal scene. Mm-hmm. They also worship Satan together. Hence the name Beasts of Satan. They were part band, part cult. They did play music. They played some gigs. There's not much info. There's a few songs that you can find there by them, if you wanted to look it up. Most of it was just kind of a cult, and they happened to have guitars,
Yeah. Did you listen to any of their music?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm more of a Beavers of Satan fan myself. So since they were more of a cult, they did a bunch of cult rituals and a lot of Satan worship together. They would often swear in new members and new, band participants as sort of these ceremonies, and they would do blood packs to invite people in.
That's so much fun.
Tampon tag?
Yeah. You trust someone after that.
Right. We shared blood, right?
Yeah.
The oath that they would take would prevent members from leaving and would also prevent them from talking about the activities of the cult, because the oath would say that if they left, they would be killed.
Like a gang.
Yeah. Blood in, blood out. Mm-hmm. So this takes place in the late 90s in northwest of Milan, called Soma Lombardo in Italy. The parents of the victims and the murderers all kind of said that they were confused about what had happened, because one day their kids were, quote, normal kids, then they get into black metal, and then all of a sudden they're also in a cult, One parent of the kids said, "These kids were just normal. I can't understand what happened to them. How was I to know that the guitar I gave him as a gift would be the beginning of the end?"
Blaming a guitar.
That's worse than blaming Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, there's plenty of kids with guitars that don't murder, just saying. I have plenty of guitars in my house. I've never killed someone. The group changed its name to the Beasts of Satan after they were initially called something like the Circus of Satan or something like that.
Circus is too fun.
They thought it was a little bit more serious, So they were all devil worshippers that followed a spiritual leader called Nicola Sapone, who was a 26-year-old plumber. Yeah.
Who the okay.
So there's a bunch of high school kids.
Yeah.
That's what's going on, that are following a 26-year-old plumber. Because clearly he's the leader. He's got it going on.
Yeah, I'm not mad that he's a plumber. I'm just mad that he's 26 and he's just...
Well, yeah, it's just like, what are you doing with your life that you're hanging out with a bunch of teenagers in your mid-20s?
Hey, that's his escape. He deals with shit all day.
Right. True story. Yeah, I'm definitely not judging the profession. I'm judging that kind of what are you doing with your life? Just hanging out with teenagers,
It's kind of predatory. In a
yes,
way.
Definitely. So in 1998, Nicola and other group members decided to kill two members called Chiara and Fabio.
They killed their own they killed the beast?
Yes.
What?
So Fabio was a guitar player for the Beasts of Satan, and Chiara was his girlfriend.
Ooh.
Maybe they wanted to take him out. He had some sick licks. He knew how to break it down on the guitar. They were just jelly.
I'm never going to be good at anything because then I'm just going to get whacked.
That's what this is. That's the lesson here.
Be mediocre all the time.
Never strive for greatness.
Yeah.
So in 1998, a couple members of the Beasts of Satan went out into the woods. I'm going to butcher all the Italian names, so I apologize in advance. And they all sound very female. It's very cute. Pietro Chiareri and Andrea Bontade.
Just want you to pronounce shit the whole time. Just give you a bunch
The fun thing is no one can see my face.
Yeah.
I'm making a very is that right? Did I do that okay? Your voice goes a little bit higher at the end, question mark.
Your mouth is making some...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some wiggles.
Yeah.
So these two, Pietro and Andrea, They went out and dug a grave because this was all planned in advance, that they wanted to kill Chiara and Fabio. So the next night, Fabio and Chiara went to a bar, this local pub called the Midnight, which was kind of the central hangout spot for all the metal kids. So this was the bar that all the metal kids could go to and listen to their music and whatnot. There weren't a lot in the area, so everybody knew that everybody hung out there all the time. Mm-hmm. So the murderer kids knew that the two of them were going to be there, so they found them. And Chiara was a shop assistant, which I'm assuming means that she worked retail.
Yeah.
And she was 19, and her boyfriend was 16-year-old in high school, Fabio. And they were hanging out. And the kids that were the murderers showed up and they said, "We want you to call your dad and tell him you're not coming home tonight." They didn't really know what was going on, because they had done a bunch of satanic rituals and all this stuff, and they were involved in this cult. They didn't really know that they were in danger.
Yeah,
so they followed orders.
They're blood brothers.
Right? I can trust you. We played tampon tag.
I'm weirded out that they're all at a bar, but I guess it's Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally different than America. Mm-hmm. People can be trusted drinking.
And they don't drive places, really.
Well, yeah, I guess there's that. I didn't even think about that, actually. So, I mean, they were just there hanging out, drinking beer, listening to bands, and they were instructed to call their dad. So they did. And the dad thought it was a little bit suspicious. It was Fabio's dad, Michel, who answered the phone, and something just didn't seem right with him. He had red flags going up, so he called back after he hung up, but they were already gone. They had already left the bar. I read reports that he also drove over to the bar and was kind of looking for them. Like, it was that much of a red flag to him that his kid wasn't coming home, that he wanted to go investigate. But there was kind of conflicting reports of whether he called or actually drove over, or both,
He just knew something was wrong. He had that bad feeling.
Exactly. That paternal instinct. After getting off the phone, Fabio was instructed to get in a car with the leader, Nicola Sapone, and another leader of the cult named Andrea Volpe. The second car arrived and picked up Chiara, his girlfriend, and the driver was Mario Macchioni. I'm sorry about these names. I'm fucking up left and right, but it is what it is. I don't speak Italian. I mean, I can order food, but that's it.
I'll take a pizza.
So Mario in the group, his role was that he was a medium.
Like a psychic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chiara got in his car, and they all started driving towards the woods. There was evidence that they were trying to burn the couple in the cars. It's not sure if they were just trying to torture them or if they were actually trying to kill them with fire. But on the way, there was definitely burn marks and in the car and on their bodies.
What a bunch of dicks, man. That's.
I mean,
and
yeah.
you're doing it in the car too. So what if you get burnt?
Yeah, it doesn't seem smart at all.
No.
Just pyros doing crazy shit, I guess.
Teenage pyros.
Not sophisticated pyros. So once they led them into the woods, they basically walked them over to this grave that had been dug the night before. They started to have what I can kind of only describe as a mock court proceeding, like a satanic court proceeding where they accused them of crimes and then charged them and went through this basically defense and argument thing. I don't know what that looks like in Satanism. I can only assume that it's fucking ridiculous.
It's just so, why would you put someone on trial? It's very, witchy, witch trials. And just,
Satanism really takes itself seriously. That's, and I would just be laughing the whole time. So they did this mock court proceeding. They accused Fabio of being too ambitious and trying to climb the hierarchy within their cult.
You were fucking right.
Yes.
Don't be mediocre. Just be mediocre. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Don't be an overachiever.
Yeah. Don't try and move up.
And Chiara, his girlfriend, was accused of being the personification of the Virgin Mary. So apparently they believe she was too pure and good or something like that.
They're too good. This is just,
right?
This is not
mediocrity. That's the goal here. So once they found them guilty and sentenced them to death, Fabio started trying to defend himself. And Fabio was a little bit of a bigger kid. He was about 6 foot, which is pretty big for a 16-year-old, and he's fighting against other teenagers. So he kind of jumped in front of Kiara and tried to fend off this group that was attacking them. But once he started defending the two of them, someone came in with a hammer and hit him over the head. He was overpowered because there was too many of them, and then the hammer came in and he collapsed.
And Hammer Smash Face.
Yes, that song. Who was that? Cannibal Corpse, I
Yep.
think? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was Mario, the medium, who had come in with the hammer. That was his weapon.
I fucking hate mediums. Oh my God.
You don't watch the Long Island Medium?
I just change the channel as fast as I can when I see that commercial.
Yeah, it's weird. It's creepy. So apparently, by all accounts, Mario was actually Fabio's best friend. And so he was the one that drove Kiara out and actually hit the blow that made him collapse and succumb to all the group.
What about the blood oath?
I know. It's pretty bad. Never trust your best friend. So then Nicola came in after he was down and gagged him to silence him, and then they both got their throats slit. Additionally, they were stabbed multiple times before being pushed into the shallow grave that was dug. Once they were in the grave, they were actually still alive. Mario recalls that he heard sounds coming out of the pit, and he said that they weren't, quote, finished yet. So they continued to stab them until both the teenagers died. And then they put dirt on top, and they actually urinated on the graves.
No respect. Oh my God.
Yeah. Once that was finished, they started dancing on the graves and basically taunting the dead bodies. They were telling them, "You're a zombie, try and get up now. Like, what are you going to do now?" All this stuff. "You're both dead, try and get out of the hole," things like that.
They only won because they outnumbered them.
Yeah, I know.
Kids are such dicks sometimes.
Oh my God. It's the scariest time of life is being a teenager.
Yeah.
Just constant threats. So after the murders, there were no clues. All the evidence was gone. Nothing was pointing to the group. What happened was the police had no leads, and the only assumption that they could make was that the couple ran away and just left home so that they could be together. Like, it was assumed that they were two teenagers in love, kind of trying to escape their parental rule or whatever, and they just left, and nobody saw them ever again. But the police had no way to track down what happened, no suspects, and no evidence that they were even gone.
Mm-hmm. It's a missing persons case.
Exactly. It was always considered a missing persons case. So after the murders, the police had no clues, and the group turned on one of the members, if you remember, Andrea Bontade, who had dug the graves the night before. He had not shown up to the mock court proceedings or the murders, knowing what was going to happen. And so the group held another court proceeding against Andrea because he was a coward, basically, that he had not shown up for the murders. They found him guilty for not being present that night and decided that they were going to sentence him to death. But I don't know if it's just because the violence of the previous murders or whatever, they decided to try and fake it like a suicide. So they gave him a ton of drugs. The cocktail of drugs that they gave Andrea actually didn't kill him. So they tried again. He recovered from it, but then again on September 21st in 1998, just a few months after the initial murders, they took him out drinking. They got him extremely wasted and high, and then basically pushed him into his car and made him drive away, and he crashed his car and died.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, so they took him out again? Like,
yes.
he
Like the
came...
first time he didn't die from whatever cocktail of drugs they gave him. So then they decided, okay, we'll just have him do a drunk driving death.
Run, get out of here. Why would you show up to the second?
I think maybe he didn't know.
Oh,
Because I'm not exactly
yeah.
sure if they were taunting him, like, you're too much of a coward, you deserve to die, like the recent suicide case where the girl convinced her boyfriend to
Yeah.
kill himself. I don't know if they were trying to do that and just kind of crush him, like, emotionally, and then pump him full of substances and put him in a car, knowing that that would lead to something catastrophically awful.
I'm just assuming he didn't show up to the second court hearing.
Yeah.
He was absent again.
Right. How'd you miss your court date, dude? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It wasn't very clear, but there was definitely, the intention was to kill him. And they were trying to do it by making it seem like it was an accident, whether it be suicide or driving or whatever it was. And it worked, and he died in a car crash. He was going 112 miles per hour when he crashed into a wall. His death, of course, was ruled accidental, and still, police had no clue of what was going on. So since their bodies were still missing, and then there was this third accidental death, nobody was really looking into the Beasts of Satan or their cult, the band or the group. The authorities assumed everything was just random crimes, people running away, people having drunk driving incidents, except for Fabio's father, Michel, the one who originally got the phone call from the bar.
Yeah.
He assumed immediately that there was foul play. He knew that his son wouldn't run away. He knew that there was really no conflict in their house, that he could have been with his girlfriend, and didn't believe this theory that he had ran away to just be with his first love or whatever. It didn't make sense to him, so he started looking into it and gathering evidence. He started going to a bunch of black metal concerts, interviewing people, passing out flyers, and asking everyone what happened to his son. Have they seen him? Did they know anything? What was your involvement with the Beasts of Satan? Anybody that was affiliated or not. He traveled all over Europe and went to all the shows of these bands that knew the Beasts of Satan.
Go dad.
I know, right?
Sorry. No, it's just weird to me that no one would have figured out that 3 people related to this band died within a couple.
Right.
Like within like a...
There's what, like 5 members and 3 people died?
Yeah, no way.
It's a
or
little
2
bit
and
much.
a girlfriend, but still.
Yeah.
They're
That's
tied.
a high percentage.
Yeah.
So when Michelle was asking a bunch of questions of all these metalheads, everybody was super evasive. There were some people that didn't know anything, and you can kind of tell that on their faces right away. But there was definitely people that were close to his son Fabio that were being evasive, weren't answering questions, said things that were very rehearsed, and he knew immediately that his son's friends were involved somehow. He just didn't have the evidence, so he started compiling it. He knew that people were hiding something, and he wanted to get evidence to prove that they were involved.
He's got to get jumped in.
Blood in, blood out, motherfucker. So he was also exploring not only the black metal scene, but Satanism, because he didn't know that his son was involved in Satanism. Kiara apparently had a bunch of Satanist and occult kind of paraphernalia at her house, literature and pictures and a bunch of stuff. So he first discovered that his son was involved in Satanism through learning that Kiara was a Satanist. At first he was just like, it's only the band, but then he knew that there was occult kind of undertones to the killing. Over the next 6 years, he was constructing a file of photographs, documents, following the activities of the band, and doing interviews, and never gave up. That's a long time.
Hire the man.
Right?
Seriously.
Maybe he wants to do research for us. 6 years pass, and in 2004, there was another murder committed. By 2004, Andre had broken up with his girlfriend who he'd been with at the time of the murders, and he decided that she knew too much about the cult's activities and the murders and the crimes that they committed. And there may have been additional things, not only the murders. We really don't know if there was other stuff.
She probably pegged him.
Right? You know I like butt stuff. That's between us.
She's got to die.
Finger in the booty ass bitch. So Maria Angela Pazzotta was a 27-year-old shop assistant who had dated Andrea at the time that the murders were committed. And as time passed, he kind of had this growing paranoia that she would not keep her mouth shut, basically, that she would tell on them and go to the police.
If he wanted out of the relationship, he could have just said so, just sign an NDA.
Right?
Or made it
There's
work.
legal forms for this, dude. You don't need to bring a knife into this. So at the time of Mariangela's murder, he was dating a new girl named Elisabetta. She was 18 years old. Again, he was like in his late 20s at this point. And she was the daughter of an upper class family. And she had run away from home in order to be with Andrea. She met him when he was a teenager and was totally taken by his kind of cult leader persona that he had. And she would do anything for him. So she left home and they were together.
She probably met him at like 10. When
Right?
She was 10. That's why
It's-
he's so cool.
Yeah. Everybody's cool when you're 10.
Yeah.
You're like, I suck. Everybody's cool.
And he's in a band. Whew.
Right? The plan was they were going to invite Maria Angela for kind of a friendly dinner, catch up and whatever. So they invited her to Elisabetta's house. And when Maria Angela arrived, she noticed that Elisabetta and Andrea were extremely drunk and high. She knew something was wrong. She felt that there was tension and there were kind of red flags for her. And then Elisabetta pulled out a rifle. And while she was pulling out her rifle, Andrea pulled out a Smith & Wesson. She, of course, tried to run, and they both blocked the exit and got in front of her. There was evidence that there was a struggle, and they fought pretty violently so that she could try and get away. But Andrea pulled out the gun and shot her in the face at almost point-blank range. Even though Maria Angela was shot in the face, she actually didn't die right away. The couple freaked out because, of course, they were drunk and high, like I said, and she was still living. They decided, since they were really freaked out and didn't want to keep shooting her, they decided to call Nicola up and ask for his help.
What? Just shoot again until it's done. Why call someone?
I know. Yeah. Because they were just too fucked up, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, they were just freaked out.
They're going on trial for cowardliness,
Right?
cowardness.
I'm calling a mock satanic trial. Nicola showed up to try and help them finish the job. And he basically mocked them and reprimanded them for failing to complete the job, pretty much. They said, you can't even kill a person. And was kind of started a fight with Nicola. Andrea and him were arguing back and forth, and they began fighting, and Andrea threatened to kill him.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Pretty much. It was a mess. So they tried to figure out, between the three of them, how to get rid of Maria Angela's body. They decided to take her outside to the greenhouse, and they hit her several times with a shovel to make sure that she was dead, and then kind of buried her in a very shallow grave, just pretty much covered her up. Afterwards, Nicola went home and pretended like nothing happened. And then Andrea and Elisabetta tried to clean up the crime scene, get rid of evidence. Hours later, Andrea and Elisabetta took a heavy dose of cocaine and heroin and decided to get rid of Maria Angela's car by driving it into a nearby river. Shortly after departing to get rid of the vehicle, Andrea was spotted by a security guard exhibiting suspicious behavior. What he was doing was he was kind of screaming and kicking and yelling, and so the security guard decided to call the police. He was apparently in a parking lot just kicking the cars when the police arrived, and they found him kind of in this frenzied state. He was dirty. He had shoes on with no laces. He had no jacket on, even though it was freezing cold outside. And it was clear to the officers kind of right away that he had spent the night getting high and drinking and all that, and they started questioning him about why he was so angry, why he was freaking out, and what was going on.
Oh, the guy kicking and screaming and kicking cars or whatever isn't sober?
Right. Shocker. So Andrea told them a story about how he was with his girlfriend and he was driving over this bridge nearby. And there was a group of about 20 guys who attacked them. Like they came out of the woods out of nowhere and attacked their car while they were driving. So while he was talking to the cops, Andrea's parents arrived and asked him what happened. And he made up a whole different story. So he was kind of all over the place. The police began to worry that no matter what the story was, because he wasn't consistent, they still thought that he may have been with his girlfriend and they didn't know what happened to her. So they focused on that line of questioning and tried to find out where she was. So Andrea led the police to the exact location where Elisabetta was. When they arrived there, they found a Fiat that was stuck in a wall nearby the bridge. The Fiat itself was empty, and the car belonged to Anna Maria, who was the mother of Maria Angela. They kept walking, and past the Fiat, there was a Honda Accord with Elisabetta hunched over the steering wheel. They, of course, feared the worst. They didn't know what happened to her. But once they kind of pulled her up and investigated a little more, they found out the girl was actually just really, really high, really fucked up, and just slumped over. She was conscious. She was somewhat responsive, but she was just really fucked up.
So he's got his ex-boo's mom's car there, and then his current boo, in the front seat of the car. This is just all linking back to him. Like, he's going to be like, I don't know, we got attacked by 20 dudes.
Right. And they happen to have a murdered girl's car, like, you know. They tried to ask Elisabetta some questions, but she really wasn't coherent enough to really give any information. So they brought the couple to the hospital. They didn't know anything about the two cars, but of course, it was clear that they were trying to get rid of the murdered girl's car. That was the goal. And they took a second car to leave that car in the river and drive home. But the police didn't know that. They would, of course, soon find out. Once they arrived at the hospital, Elisabetta became a little bit more conscious, and she confessed to Andrea's mother that they had killed Maria Angela and that they had left her corpse in the greenhouse of her home. So the police immediately went to the home and found the body, partially covered in dirt. Andrea and Elisabetta were arrested. The next morning, the news story hit all the media outlets. They were pasted all over the papers. They were on the TV. And Fabio's father, Michel, was watching the local news. Michel recognized the band member Andrea, that was his son's friend, and he kind of started putting two and two together and wanted to go to the police. He knew from seeing that news story, this was kind of the link that he needed. This couple had murdered someone. Maybe they knew something about my son, or possibly, most likely, they were involved.
And he's right.
Yes.
Because that girl was murdered because she knew too much.
Exactly. So Michel called the police and arranged a meeting. As soon as he got some time with them, he brought in this whole pile of evidence that he had been compiling over the last 6 years about his son's whereabouts and about the beasts of Satan and all of the black metal kids that were in the area.
What a file.
I know.
Seriously.
I know. Of course, the police, like you hear many times, would have not believed him. You know, just if he showed up and verbally told him the story, they would dismiss him. They'd be like, all right, dude, we'll look into it. But because he had pictures, documents, interviews, tapes, like all sorts of stuff, they took it seriously and they had enough to back it up, what he was saying. So they took the evidence from Michel and brought it in to interrogate the couple. He had basically kind of done his own investigation to the point where they could present all the evidence and say, we know that you had something to do with the disappearance of Chiara and Fabio. You need to tell me about it. After questioning them for a while, he confessed. Andrea Volpe then led the police to where Fabio and Chiara were buried, and they were charged with 3 murders.
Yahoo. I was going to say, if this was Queensland, it would have been figured out
Right.
in 2 hours.
Exactly. 30 minutes or less, like pizza.
I hope they bring down everyone else with them, too.
Exactly. So after Andrea confessed, they also brought in the rest of the Beasts of Satan and anyone that was in the file Michelle had that he thought was a suspect. They presented all the kids with all this evidence and asked them to give more details, and one by one, people started confessing. And of course, a lot of them tried to turn witness and offer their story in exchange for a lighter sentence. So they were clamoring one by one to just get the best deal, basically. They also brought up some evidence of their drummer, Andrea Bontade, who had committed suicide with the drunk driving incident. They had brought the information and tried to get confessions, but there really wasn't enough evidence to charge anybody with murder. It was still ruled a suicide for that particular case. Yeah. I know, it's so disappointing. In addition to charging them with these murders that they knew about, they were looking for other links. They investigated whether the group had links to other, like, Satanist networks throughout Italy. And during this time, the crimes kind of set off this Italian version of satanic panic like we had in America.
Oh, man, they have the Vatican and everything over there, so
Yes.
shit's probably intense.
It was popping off in the Vatican. There were definitely a lot of church members and Vatican members that believed, the Italian youth were at risk of becoming Satanists. And this was a large group of people that were trying to convert their kids, basically. So in February 2005, a Roman Catholic university connected to the Vatican began offering courses to teach priests about exorcisms and possession and educate them about dealing with Satanism.
I want to take that class so bad.
It would be so interesting, right?
God, what if the Pope just wore like a black metal shirt and then they wouldn't like it anymore because, it's like when your parents do
Right?
something. It's not cool
it's
anymore.
not cool.
Yeah.
That's all they needed to do. Little did they know. They just needed to paint their nails black,
Yeah.
get really sick eyebrows, and then nobody would be a Satanist anymore because it would be played out.
Exactly.
Yep. So in reaction to the murders, there was a lot of members of the church that called for death metal to be banned. One priest was quoted as saying, "If music makes itself an instrument of nefarious deeds and death, it should be stopped." So there was this whole movement amongst a lot of religious figures to kind of try and get kind of the parental advisory kind of stuff, or even get it banned altogether and made illegal. Of course, that didn't work, but that was what they were trying to do. In addition to the Vatican getting involved, there was a special task force of the police that was put together to deal with Satanism and handle satanic cases and murders,
That's so good. You know how pissed you would be, though, if you've been working your whole life to be like a detective and you get moved to the satanic.
Right? To be like, I put in 20 years on the job.
Yeah.
Now I just chase down teenagers that just like metal. That would be super disappointing. So on February 22nd, 2005, Andrea Volpe was found guilty of 3 murders. Prosecutors asked that he be sentenced to 20 years, but instead the judge sentenced him to 30 years, a decade longer than the prosecution requested, which I find extremely interesting. Usually they either do it exactly or a little bit less. I don't know if that's as common in Italy as it is in America, but usually there's just a little bit less. Like the judge leans on the side a little bit more conservatively, would that be?
Yeah.
But I don't know. They just kind of threw the book at him.
Not when it's Satan.
Nope.
Not when Satan's on the stand.
involved.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, just how horrific the murders were, and they got away with it for a long time too.
Right.
So I'm glad they added an extra 10.
Yeah. I think just the amount of time that the parents were waiting for closure was enough to just add on a bunch to that sentence, I think.
And it sounds like a little bit of that sounds like too little of time, right?
Honestly,
like
for
30
3
years?
murders, I don't think that's a very heavy sentence. I think asking for 20 years is too little even.
Yeah.
So in 2006, 5 more members of the group went to trial and were sentenced kind of approximately 25 years each.
Now, how did they get 25 years?
Well,
That's so weird.
Andrea was the one that was involved in all 3. The other ones were involved in 2, because the first Chiara and Fabio.
Yeah.
That was the one where there was like 6 people or more involved.
Yeah, and they just got 5 years less for one less murder. That's so weird to me. You would think they would get a lot less.
Yeah. So the victims' families were kind of had mixed reactions to this. Fabio's father said that justice has rewarded him. He seemed to be happy with it. But Lena Marino, who was Chiara's mother, was just outraged and heartbroken. And she was the person that was screaming in the courtroom, saying it wasn't enough time. And she was really upset. There was, of course, a couple members that were a little bit more on the outskirts that gave evidence and turned state's witness and all that. And they got lesser sentences. So she was pretty fucking pissed. She was very insistent that they're murderers and the sentencing wasn't fair.
You're damn right.
Yeah, if that was my kid, fuck yeah, I would be that way. Chiara's parents in a statement said, "Those who killed our daughter must remain in prison to the end, from the first day to the last of their sentences." In 2007, of course, a bunch of the group formed, together to do appeals and try and get their sentence lessened. But their sentences were confirmed. In a lot of cases, they were actually extended by at least a few years. So there was a few members that got, like, Marco was sentenced to 29 years. His initial sentence was 26. Elisabetta, hers was actually reduced for some reason because she was only involved in one murder. So from 24 years, she got down to 23 years. But it was all pretty much in the same general within a couple years. But either way, nobody got an overturned sentence. Nobody was found not guilty. They all got their sentences instated, In addition to these murders, police were also looking into a bunch of other mysterious events, like the suicide that had happened. Of course, there was not enough evidence, but they were trying to form an investigation to see if there was other crimes that were linked to the beasts of Satan. A lot of the crimes, I think I forgot to mention in the beginning, the initial 2 murders, they happened on the full moon. And then the other murder happened on the full moon as well, if I remember correctly. So they started specifically investigating crimes that would happen whether the moon was full or on like Friday the 13th or anything that happened then where it seemed like it could be linked to Satan. They tried to link it to the beasts of Satan. So they reopened a bunch of cases. There were links established to a few of them. There was a murder of another one of Andrea's ex-girlfriends. Her name was Maddalena Russo, and she was a nightclub singer when they were dating, and she was found strangled with a belt. Her murder took place on Friday the 13th in 1995, and her body was found in a field, and the corpse had been tortured and mutilated. They also, of course, like I said, they opened the investigation into the suicide to see if that was murder. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough evidence in either of those cases, and there were no further charges brought against the beasts of Satan. But it's clear that they had committed additional crimes of murder.
Wow.
Yeah. It just seems like the only conclusion would be that they were committed by the beasts of Satan, but the police could not find enough to link them to it.
She knew too much.
Man.
Just break up with them, really.
Yeah. Like, you have how many dead ex-girlfriends? Maybe I gotta go.
Yeah, and in like a ritualistic type way, how would you not link him to that?
Yes. So I'm not exactly sure why the evidence was so lacking, and I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But this isn't Queensland. So and that's the story of the beasts of Satan.
That was good. Beavis of Satan.
That's our new band. The end.
That was good. Rock and roll.
I know it didn't focus a whole ton on the actual band and music and stuff, but that's a really interesting story.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the stories, once I get into the research of them, there's a bunch of other different things. Like this has occults and Satanistic things and I don't know.
A mixture of everything that we love.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge, a smorgasbord. So that's it for the story, and I think you have a little game for me.
Yeah, I made it super hard so you'll never win.
So today we are going to do another game of blind items, and if you didn't listen to the first one, what these are is Kelly is going to tell me some crimes and a couple clues, and I'm going to try to guess the celebrity that committed those crimes. Cool?
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting because I have terrible memory. I can't remember names of anyone, and I did a lot of drugs.
Cool. So I wrote this a little while ago, and I can't read my own handwriting.
So it's going to be the best game we've ever done.
Yes.
And the
page.
winner is going to be drugs.
It always is.
Is this open book or?
I thought the answers were on the back. I was like, fuck. Okay.
Kelly is incredibly concerned that I'm always going to be cheating.
You
Every
can't
time
win.
there's a game, she like covers her papers like I'm, you know.
Because I know
gonna
you'll
sneak in.
cheat. No, I'm just kidding.
So if you're at home, play along and don't judge me for not knowing people's names.
I'm pretty sure I did real bad last time.
I like that feeling though when you scream out someone's name at like you're at home playing
Yeah.
along and you're like, it's Eminem.
Yeah.
I know who this is.
I do that all the time with podcasts.
Right?
at
Because
least.
when you're in the moment, like recording and whatever, it's a lot harder to think of the answers to. But once you're at home and all chill,
Yeah.
they come to you immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reflect later on tonight and be like, damn, I knew that one.
Yeah, it's harder when people are staring at you too. Deep in your
Right.
eyes. All right, so I guess I'll go with the crime first.
Yes.
So the crime is aggravated assault and criminal conspiracy,
Ooh,
which basically
criminal conspiracy.
in 1989, when this person was 20 years old,
Okay.
they had an argument with a promoter, and this was after this person had just won their first rap Grammy, and basically they got in a fight with the promoter, and I think the celebrity had told their bodyguard to beat him up, and it resulted in this person almost losing their vision. Basically, he had 6 stitches. He needed 6 stitches after he fractured his left eye orbit.
I so know this one. I know this story, and I can't remember who it was, but I want to say it's Tupac.
No, not close. I'm not even going to say that. It's just I just thought at the same time. But more of, I don't want to say an innovator, but earlier, handsome, like Tupac, very sexy mugshot. A super sexy mugshot. This is also, he wasn't charged for this, so the charges were dismissed. But
Which so often happens with celebrities. Gotta love that.
So lucky.
I need more money.
Money
Pay
equals
everyone
power.
off.
Yeah. So this guy is very tall, very handsome, is kind of a power couple, has done movies and music crossover and is good in both of them. Was on a super popular show in the 90s, a family type show, but not so family that it wasn't cool.
Are you talking about Fresh Prince?
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Will Smith, really?
Yes. So Will Smith was 20 in 1989 in Philly. Basically, after him and DJ Jazzy Jeff won their first Grammy, they went to a bar or whatever, or something like this, where he basically wanted this guy, he got in a fight with the promoter and wanted him.
Beat up.
Yeah. And the
Man.
best part is that, well, Will Smith is really embarrassed about this, but people kept asking him for autographs in the holding cell.
Oh, no. That's terrible. And they don't even have paper on them, so they're like, can you sign my arm?
Get the left cheek.
Oh, you don't have a pen? Just like, I don't know.
Scratch
scrape
it.
Yeah.
Can you just leave a nice
That's crazy.
bite right
Yeah.
here?
I feel like I thought that this was someone else. I swear that happened with Tupac.
Probably.
I swear.
Probably.
That sounds really familiar, but I don't think I knew that about Will Smith at all.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Go Will Smith.
Wow.
Got a
Not
little
go
more
Will Smith.
What?
Are you
He got
kidding
a little
me?
more sexy to me. I always thought he was so like,
Yeah, he is he's a little punk.
yeah, he's not hard at all. But
No.
he's got, I was like, he has no rap sheet. He's got a rap sheet that was dropped.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so next one.
Mm-hmm.
This is for careless driving. So basically the crime is there was a car accident in 1987 while vacationing in Northern Ireland.
I know, God damn it. I know this one too. This is a musician, isn't it? No.
No.
Okay. Just kidding.
He basically was driving and he crossed into the wrong lane and collided head on with another vehicle, which instantly killed the driver and the passenger. At the time, he was charged with death by dangerous driving, which had a way higher sentence. And he was later convicted of a lesser charge of careless driving, and he was only fined $175.
Shut your mouth.
The victim's family basically labeled it as a travesty of justice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mind
my
you-
God.
Yeah.
I couldn't even go on if that happened to a
No.
family member. That's devastating.
Now, this person is not really around too much anymore. He's married to somebody that's probably more famous than him. He was really popular in the 80s, super cute. He was in a really cool movie where he ditched school. You know what I'm saying? In the 80s, and it was a classic 80s
Matthew Broderick?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Swear to God. I know, right? I can't even watch Fear. I can't even support Matthew Broderick anymore. I mean, I'm sure he feels terrible. But you know, in Northern Ireland, while you're on vacation, you drunk as fuck. No one even checked you. How did you collide onto the other?
That's crazy.
Nuts, right?
Did you ever see Election? It has one of the creepiest sex scenes ever.
Maybe I didn't. What is...
He's just, I don't know. He's just, I don't know.
He's
cute. Such a not sexy dad at that point in his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's no longer Ferris Bueller.
No. Bueller.
Yeah, so it was just really not good to see that sex scene.
Ew.
Yeah.
Who was it with?
That I can't remember because I was so creeped out by his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember Reese Witherspoon was in that movie, but I
Ooh.
don't think the scene was with her.
God, I hope not. That would wreck me.
You know what it was? It was like he was having sex with his wife, but then like I feel like her face was transposed, like he was fantasizing about her or something. Yeah, it was just really creepy. Don't watch Matthew Broderick have sex.
You're
it's not a
ass.
sex tape I want to see.
But you're really killing it right now. So
yeah, there's still more questions though. I'm gonna fuck those up for sure.
No, so this
You
one
found some good ones. I'm really excited about this.
This is good. One of them you might not get, but still, I'm pretty sure you'll get these. The next one is for assault and battery, which at the same time, her husband was charged for the same thing, same exact thing. So,
okay.
Assault and battery.
So, question first: was it assault and battery against each other, or they were fighting cases
Each
at
other.
the same time?
That would have been tight, though.
That would have been like, damn, dude, ride or
Bonnie
die.
and Clyde. Yeah. So it was at the same time. So it was against each other. It was 1999. She was popping in 1999. Basically, they got in a fight. Here's the crime. So they got in a fight. They were screaming at each other. The cops, it was a hotel in Miami. Things get crazy.
Florida.
And it's at 7 a.m. the cops got called there. So you know.
Partying all night.
Party all night. And they don't stop drinking there till late. So
yeah.
people, I guess the cops came because there was screaming, shouting, all that stuff. Basically, the judge, they didn't want to press charges against each other. It's still on the record, but they were ordered to stay 500 feet away from each other, and they both kind of at the end were like, well, you know, that pussy or something. But okay, so let me give you a hint. She's super hot, ridiculously hot, funny, and she has her own pole. She was popular with known as a sex symbol, really. She's just super, probably friends with Jenny McCarthy. Brunette, huge tits.
Dude, Carmen Electra?
Yes.
Who was it with at the time?
Rodman.
I was gonna say Rodman.
Yeah, they both got a.
I loved them as a couple.
Yeah, they're so
she
great.
comes up to maybe his belly button.
It's
That's
so
the
hot.
best part.
Yeah, they're so. There were just drugs and.
Yes.
He was wearing a dress.
So much fashion.
She was probably wearing a suit.
They were wearing matching leopard print something. You know?
Love
Funny
it.
hats.
Yeah, of course.
They had those big floppy hats all the time.
The hats of the 90s, man. The leopard print, big, oversized. Anything with fluffs on it, too.
Yes,
the marabou type.
Fuzzy.
Ugh. You're killing it, man.
Man, I didn't know about that for some reason.
These next two might be a little hard.
Okay.
I don't really know exactly the charge, but here's the crime.
Okay.
They're
celebrities. They probably didn't get charged.
They don't.
Period.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think she might have, which is good. But she crashed into a car, into the median of the road or whatever, while high as fuck with her boyfriend in the car. She was sentenced to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service.
Question.
Yes.
Was she going the wrong way on the freeway? Because that would be Nicole Richie.
No.
Do you remember that?
But yes, I do.
Okay,
I've seen
sorry.
people do that, which is crazy. On the 101.
Sorry to interrupt, but you saw someone do that?
Yeah, on the 101, totally. And I saw someone park the wrong way on the 101 one time too.
No,
it was bad.
That's terrifying. Okay,
yeah, it was bad.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. So basically, she was high on cocaine. She has a real bad coke habit.
Cocaine.
So bad of a cocaine habit that she had an infection that had completely eaten out the inside of her nose. She got antibiotics, and then
so she's got that nice cocaine one nostril thing going on,
and
it all just goes into one.
Yep. And then 6 weeks after, she used that one nostril to keep snorting and continued doing her drugs.
The disco days aren't over. Get it,
Nope.
girl.
So
Nose candy,
ride the white horse.
booger sugar.
So she was really popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. Even though I don't know, when I looked up the show she was on, I was like, that's when that was?
Yeah, it seems like time just is
Yeah.
getting real fucked up for me as I get older. I'm like, what?
It was from 1999 to 2001. And
Okay.
she was pretty much known for this big show, which was Baywatch. She was on Baywatch.
Okay.
Stood alongside David Hasselhoff and Pam Anderson.
Uh-huh.
She was also in Basketball. Super hot brunette.
Wasn't it Yasmin Bleeth?
God
was the
damn,
other
you're
one?
good at this job. I quit. I'm done.
She's hot as fuck.
She's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
And in Basketball, too. So I don't know. She's a co-good, which is good for her for
Wow.
getting her life on track.
Man, I'm loving that I don't know any of these. I'm so excited.
You know all of them, which is
To be
great.
fair, I'm not excited about the crimes. I'm just saying I'm excited that there's things I didn't know about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds weird too. Now I take that back.
I'm excited you don't know things either sometimes. I'm excited you get to know things.
You're educating me on celebrity crimes.
I just educated myself before you got here, so
Put me up on game, Cal.
got it. Okay, so this one, I didn't even know who this guy, but you like music, so maybe you'll know who he is. I didn't. I just didn't know my name. Okay, so here's the crime.
Mm-hmm.
He pled guilty to threatening to kill his former personal assistant, and he had drug charges. So not only when he got in trouble for trying to, hire a hitman, basically,
Oh my God.
the cops raided his place and found meth and marijuana.
Okay.
Just a contradicting mix. That doesn't
Yeah, I
sound fun
know,
at
right?
all.
Those don't go together, dude.
No. So
That said,
basically,
people say that about cocaine and heroin, and I disagree. No, I'm just kidding.
it's like a speedball, right? Or
I
something.
mean, really, you just kind of meet in the middle. You
Yeah.
go up, you go down, I
So-
don't know. There's some things that just make sense. I don't think alcohol and cocaine go together, but everybody does that.
Yeah, everyone does. Oh, what? It's like peanut butter and jelly.
But it doesn't make sense. Down and up, and somehow it works.
That just means level. That's just keep going. If you were falling over, you're good now. So.
It's like that Paula Abdul opposites attract thing.
Yes.
Me and that cat dancing around.
Oh my god. All right, so this guy tried to get his personal assistant or whatever killed, and he basically faced 7 years, but as most celebrities do, only received 8 months home detention. So the crime basically, he wanted his ex-employee taken out, so he offered $133,000 in either a car, a motorcycle, or a house if the person agreed.
Damn.
I don't know.
I feel like that number's higher than I expected. I feel like when I hear people hiring hitmen, it's like, I'll give you $5,000 or something.
Something stupid. Or 10. I
That's
don't know.
kinda
maybe
crazy.
50. 100, but 133 is really like random.
Yes,
a weird
very.
number.
There must have been something like they asked for that specific amount.
They were in
know?
debt for a specific.
Something.
That's the crime. He got charged, I feel like, for the marijuana and the meth, and for the hitman. Either way, this is on his rap sheet, but it's he's in a big band, one of the most known rock bands that was really popular in the late 70s, early 80s.
Is this the guy from AC/DC?
God damn it!
Wasn't it their drummer?
Oh, god damn it!
I don't remember his name though.
Phil Rudd. And I
Phil
thought about it
Rudd.
because I was like, Paul Rudd did what? Brianna's going to love this.
Damn it, Paul Rudd. You were like America's sweetheart boy.
He's so sexy. Ugh.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Weird.
Damn. Well, the thing is, wasn't there a song? Oh, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Isn't that about hiring a hitman?
Oh my God. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure that's
hilarious.
like the subject matter of that song.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a burn.
Done dirt cheap. I mean, 133
Is
mil,
not
that's not
done
dirt cheap, man.
Yeah. Done dirt too high.
Done dirt expensive.
Yeah. I really like that when I'm looking through the articles. So while it's going at the same time, you read articles before he was going to get convicted or anything. They're like, it's not going to affect their upcoming tour. And then you see it affected their upcoming tour.
That I didn't know. That's interesting.
Pretty good. But it was like a 2000 something tour, which
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, that was already like they were headed downhill kind of.
Yeah.
Not that nobody likes them, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy their shirts at like Forever 21 now.
Exact
so.
Target and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact.
Fun fact.
Carmen Electra's real name is Tara Patrick, which I thought
Interesting.
as her to be
Really?
just a sex symbol. Anyways, which Tara Patrick is a sex symbol in her own way.
That's cool.
Tara Patrick. So, you ready for the next one you're going to kill?
I'm loving it.
Okay. All right. I feel like you're going to get it.
Nah.
Yeah, nah. Nah, yeah.
Drugs are going to win.
So she was charged with perjury and obstruction. Basically, here's the crime. So she lied to a grand jury about a 2001 machine gun shootout that left one rival injured. She was questioned whether 2 of her associates were involved when gunfire erupted outside WQHT or Hot 97 in Manhattan. Manhattan. In Manhattan. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
The scuffle that this girl didn't see happened between her manager Damian Butler and Schiff Gutta Jackson. And you've met Damian Butler.
Have I?
He is a customer at our store.
Interesting.
And we have met him many of times.
I don't remember him.
So here is some hints. She's a record producer, a rapper. She was part of an all-male clique, an all-male rap group.
Is this Lil' Kim?
Sure is. Or Kimberly Denise Jones.
That's right. I remember that.
She went to jail for not ratting people out.
Yeah.
So,
I totally remember that. And everybody was all excited about it. Like, Lil' Kim ain't a rat.
she ain't a rat.
And she likes pasties.
She-
so she's on my team.
That was really one of my hints was show Diddy at the MTV Movie Awards.
That's a great hint.
Which I like that the scuffle happened outside. Hot 97 has a lot of I think the Game and the 50 Cent beef took place there.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that name come up a lot.
It's a really popular radio station in New York or whatever, but it happened between people from Capone and Noriega, which is Foxy Brown's group, and I think it was over the Foxy Brown beef. So
Interesting.
So 24 rounds were fired from machine guns outside a fucking radio
Jesus.
station. Yeah,
That's crazy. I didn't really know the whole story behind that.
good story. Yeah, I didn't know the story. I knew she got in trouble for not lying, or not
Yeah.
got in trouble, but she got street cred.
I really, really like her a lot. I
Oh,
like listening to her.
my God.
But then lately I see her face and I just feel like I want to hug her, like her inside is broken.
Yeah,
Because she is slowly turning into a Barbie. Like,
no, really, it's bad and
scary.
But it just sucks to me because I seriously was listening to Lil' Kim like last week and was just like, damn, that's empowering. Like, seriously, Suck My Dick is just like
Yes.
a fucking great song.
She's so fucking awesome.
And it just makes you think that you're just so secure with yourself. Like, nobody has more
Yep.
confidence. And it just shows that everyone has their insecurities.
I know.
That's Queen Bee. She's the OG Queen Bee.
She's amazing. I want to hug her and be like, you're good enough.
yeah.
You are.
Seriously.
Please
Ugh,
don't change.
She's the shit.
Last time I saw her, I feel like she had like blue eyes and shit. I'm just like, oh my God.
Looking real creepy.
Yeah. And T.I.'s wife got that like
Ugh.
surgery thing where she got blue put into her eyes permanently. Like basically a tattoo for your eye. Have you seen that, Tiny? She got blue eyes for real now.
Is that cultural appropriation?
It's just crazy. Whatever it is, I'm like, you look like a snake or something.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't like
creepy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not a fan.
No.
But to each their own. And
yeah, I want people to be happy, but I want them to be happy with who they are.
yeah, exactly.
I feel really lame right now, but I do. I want Lil' Kim to be, secure.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, just she's so empowering. Fuck,
I
dude.
know. It's disappointing to see the discrepancy or disparity between her confidence while she's singing and clearly her confidence in her look.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Oh,
You ready for the next one?
yes.
All right. So this one might be my favorite.
Uh-oh.
So this is an actor.
Okay.
But here's the crime. So while filming a movie in North Carolina, this person went out to the Fire Belly Lounge in North Carolina with Steve Buscemi and screenwriter Scott Rosenberg. 2 men picked a fight with this person because the guy's girlfriend, one of their girlfriends, was talking to this actor. So the guys wanted to pick a fight. So outside this bar at 2 a.m., they get into a scuffle. Steve Buscemi tries to protect this person, and Steve Buscemi was stabbed above the eye, in the jaw, throat, and arm, trying to protect this actor. He was later taken to the hospital and all that stuff. Charges, of course, were dropped. He's a very popular actor. He's fucking hilarious. He's in a lot of comedies. Definitely comedies. Probably has a really big drinking habit. Was in a really good movie back in the day with two men and what's his name? Fuck. What?
I feel like this is Vince Vaughn.
God damn it! God damn it!
Just because I know that he's such a terrible, awful alcoholic.
Yeah.
So you're like, he's a drinker.
He's a drinker.
Like, and he's funny. Okay, that's Vince Vaughn.
That's Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, because his face is alcoholic face
His
nowadays.
mugshot, you could tell he's pissed and drunk.
I didn't know that he was with Steve Buscemi.
And
I knew that
Scott
he got
Rosenberg.
arrested. Something was happening, but I didn't know the details of the crime.
So good.
But he's got sick ass moon face.
Yeah.
He blew up. Like he was so handsome when he was
is.
young.
Yeah, swingers. Oh,
You've seen
my God.
Clay Pigeons? That's one of my favorite movies of all fucking
No,
time.
but not gonna write down.
It's him and Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, we've talked about. Okay.
And it's basically like murder story, but it's not a mystery because you know who the murderer is immediately.
Yeah.
But it's done in kind of a dark comedy style and a thriller at the same time.
What?
And Janine Garofalo is in it.
Oh.
Clay Pigeons, I highly recommend. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite fucking movies.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it next
Yeah.
time before we record next time. I'll watch it. And I'll
Yeah.
give you an update since you're pretty much winning. I mean, I'm not even playing, and I care.
You're so competitive.
Yeah. Okay, so this next person, the crime was drug smuggling.
Awesome.
Drug smuggling. She was arrested and accused of smuggling drugs into I think the Cleveland, Ohio airport.
Okay.
This was back in the day.
Was it in her pussy?
Close? It was in
Just
her hair.
asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Wait, she put it in her hair?
Amy Winehouse style, but this is way before Amy Winehouse.
So was she trying to use like maybe cocaine as like a texturizing powder? Was
Yeah.
that what was happening?
Exactly. It's like a dry shampoo. But basically, turned out to be vitamins. And I feel like people had done this because she was such a feminist and just an anti-Vietnam person. And she was really known for being anti the war in Vietnam. So after the charges were dropped and later, she had a clutch made.
Was this Jane Fonda?
Yes. But listen to me.
I'm sorry.
She had a clutch made with her fucking mugshot put on it.
Shut up.
Yes, what a bad bitch.
She's
oh
a
my
G.
God. Yes,
love
she's
her.
so cool. And her mugshot is
Doesn't she? I've seen her mugshot.
Is
Her
she-
hair is all
and
like
she puts her fist
Tegan
up.
and Sarah like.
yes, exactly, exactly. Oh
she
my
looks
God.
fly as fuck in her mugshot.
She does.
Seriously.
And she seriously has her hand up.
Hair goals. I know.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Ridiculous.
Amazing.
That was good. You were fucking killing it. These people are amazing, though. I never knew this. I learned so much today.
Yeah, I didn't know about the details, but yeah, I knew she was arrested for drugs.
It was vitamins. But why would you
Interesting.
put your vitamins in your hair?
Are you saying vitamins like in air quotes?
I mean, I don't get why you put vitamins in your hair. I don't get it.
I don't know. Hollywood beauty tricks.
True. Yeah. Maybe she had like too many vitamins. It's like cap. Okay, so next person was found guilty of second-degree murder.
Whoa.
Oh, first off, this person is killed twice. Let me just tell you.
Whoa.
Yeah, this person is killed twice.
Is this Suge Knight?
No, but
Because I feel like he keeps getting away with murder. I'm
he
just saying.
finally didn't. Thank God. First one basically was justifiable homicide in 1954 after spotting someone trying to rob one of his, I think like gambling houses or just one of his houses. He shot someone and then they died, and that was justifiable homicide.
Whoa.
That wasn't the big one. That people let go. So he was found guilty of second-degree murder, but basically used self-defense. The crime was he beat a former employee to death after an argument that escalated from the employee owing this person $600. And the fight ended in front of a bar in which this person kicked the victim's head and he died.
I hate hearing what someone's fighting over. It makes it so much worse to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Over
oh,
$600?
he owed him $100 or something. It's just like, that's an entire human life. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, it was back in the day, so it's probably worth more.
it was
but,
probably
yeah.
like $700 now. No. What year was it?
I feel like it was the 70s, maybe
Okay.
60s.
But fuck, man.
To make it worse, he served less than 4 years in prison because it was reduced to manslaughter.
No.
I swear.
I'm already
So,
mad.
This he's an older man. He's got crazy hair. Known for his crazy hair. He witnessed some of the biggest events in sports history.
This is Don King.
Yes.
I should have guessed it at the hair. Whoa.
Don King killed 2 people.
Whoa.
Crazy. crazy.
Like he himself, not even his like bodyguard or anyone. That is fucking insane.
Yeah, kicked him in the head.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's terrible.
But you're winning. All you do is win, 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 win.
Getting a W.
So I guess I could do these other two. They're kind of iffy, but
That's cool.
let me just tell you this. I don't know the exact crime, but I guess this guy had murdered someone, and he was in prison, in and out of prison. I think his last stint he did was like 5 years, but he'd been in prison for like 11 years. Really known for making a turnaround. Really looks like a thug, but he definitely murdered and was just a bad person back in the day. So he's an LA native.
Ice Cube.
Echo Park. Close.
No, Ice Cube, everyone thinks that, but he just he
Yeah.
went to my high school in the valley.
Yeah, exactly, right? That would be Taft, right?
Yeah.
Birmingham? Taft, yeah.
Taft.
So Echo Park, from Echo Park, he's an older man, definitely now sober, been sober for 42 years. He loves LA and tacos so much that he has his own...
Danny Trejo.
There you go. So I guess the whole thing is that he plays like a crazy thug or whatever, but he really is like a reformed old gangster pretty much. Like maybe not even gangster, but just a old criminal, you know, that used to just cause a bunch of ruckus in LA.
I've met him a couple times.
Is he nice? He has to be.
He is very nice. He actually knew my boyfriend back in the day, and I'm just like standing there with my boyfriend, and Danny Trejo walks up and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing? How you been?" And I'm like looking over at my boyfriend like, what the fuck just happened?
He's like,
you know Danny Trejo? That should have been the first thing you told me on the first date. I'm just saying.
I don't care what movies you like. I don't care what shit you like.
I don't give a fuck what bands you like.
Exactly.
Tell me about Danny Trejo. Yeah. I mean, I definitely knew that his story was that he was reformed. I didn't know about any of his crimes, but definitely the drugs that he was into.
Yeah, he was definitely. I just wish I found more. There was nothing. You look up his criminal record; they don't show you anything, which makes me think it's fake. Yeah, it was really hard for me to find it. I'm sure other people can, but. So here's a little dorky one, but we love this person, or I think imagine we would love this person. The crime is felony vandalism, which is so ridiculous.
So what?
It's so dorky. Basically, it was unauthorized entry into a dwelling, obstructing police, failure to appear while out on bail, but it was for messing up a guest house of a home that this person had previously, because this actor did this with his wife. Basically, they had both had all these charges, but it was because they had owned the house together, the property, I guess, or it was their old residence.
So it was basically a landlord that was mad.
They were the old landlord. They sold the place and then messed up the guest house of their old house, I think. But they had gotten in trouble because they tried to go to Canada and they got like held up or something, and they were trying to get citizenship. Like I think the wife had citizenship and this person was trying to get citizenship. So he's an actor. He's a brother of another actor. Same last name.
I'm thinking Affleck's or Wahlberg's.
Nope. He's in some awesome movies about like family movies that had a long chain of them, you know, like I can't give away the movie, you're gonna get it.
He had a brother. About the Murphys?
No, close, but no, not even close. I don't know why I keep saying close, but it's older, and
I should stop guessing and just let you do your thing.
He is always he's a weirdo. Like he's always the weirdo in the movie. Either he's the weird dad or he's always the weird dad, really. Weird brother, or just someone that's always looked at as like a weirdo, pretty much. So the movies are really big. I
want to wait.
He's in the vacation movies.
Okay, now this is what happens. I'm blanking on the names.
Go drugs.
They're winning. I want to say Chevy Chase, but I feel like I'm wrong.
Who's Chevy Chase's brother that has the same last name as him?
Richard Chase. No, I'm just kidding. People don't know. Chevy Chase's brother was the vampire of San Francisco.
Sacramento.
But yeah, you know, same thing.
Of the Bay Area.
See, there you go, drugs again. Cash, drugs. I'm really blanking.
He was in a movie with Will Smith where they fought aliens. He was in Independence Day. He was a crazy person in that one.
Tommy Lee Jones? Why am I'm fucking this up.
Tommy Lee Jones in Independence Day?
No, he wasn't.
No. He's got a crazy beard. He's got a crazy beard. Never used to have a
I'm going to kick myself later about this. I know it. Because you're looking at me like you know this.
I mean, he's a crazy... I feel like I give you better hints. His brother's name is Dennis.
The Quaid?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Randy Quaid?
Yeah.
Wait, I seriously When you started saying this, the first thing I thought was Randy Quaid.
No
and
way.
I dismissed it immediately because I was thinking about the story about how wasn't he the person that kind of lost his mind and started recording a bunch of like YouTube videos, including a porn with his wife?
We got to shut the thing off right now. We got to go.
Yeah, no, because...
No, I didn't know that, but I would watch a porn with Randy Quaid. I totally would. There's some good laughs, I'm sure.
I'm hoping that I'm not fucking this up, but I swear...
I wouldn't skip to the pop shot.
No, I swear that was something that happened where they thought that like there was this paranoia thing. They were clearly on a lot of drugs.
Yeah. I want to do drugs with him. His beard he has going on right now. I thought he was...
Yeah, no, he definitely did a porn with his girlfriend.
Why did we not have that? We've never...
And, I heard it described on Page 7, one of our favorite podcasts.
Yep.
They were talking about how the whole time there was a dog barking in the background. Like, it was like watching a train wreck. It was just completely disgusting.
That would drive me insane.
And awful, plus the dog. Like, it was just really bad. But yeah, there was a bunch of YouTube videos came out that they were having some sort of paranoid meltdown, that there was a customs battle of them getting in and out of the country or something like that. Yeah.
Like, it was a custom battle, basically.
And then between those paranoia rants, they would fuck.
Oh my God.
I swear.
Goals.
Yeah, we're going to go investigate that because we don't know everything. But I definitely think that's worth pointing out because he's clearly...
You have money to be out on bail. Why would you run? Rich people aren't allowed to do that.
Right?
Seriously, they're not. You have no fucking excuse.
Yeah. Is he super rich? I don't know.
I mean, he was in Independence Day. I feel like anyone that's in Independence Day has got that Independence Day.
He was also in Kingpin.
Oh, he was in Kingpin.
Which
Fuck,
is
why did I not?
Awesome.
God damn it, yeah.
Yeah. The joy that movie brings me.
That movie's so good. God damn it. I've honestly thought he was dead for a second, but is that Dennis?
I don't think Dennis Quaid's
Are any of the Quaids dead? I was like,
There's-
he's dead.
I don't even know there's more Quaids.
Oh, there's a quad of Quaids, though.
It's the Quaid Quad Squad.
I just want to see them walking down the street.
Man, I really think we need to start a celebrity gossip podcast because
we got
the
it.
joy
That's
that I
gonna be
get
good.
talking about this stuff.
Let's do it. We're doing
There's
it.
just so many amazing, crazy celebrity stories of just weird shit or crimes or just, I don't know, things they believe in, like fucking Gwyneth Paltrow's beauty shit.
Yeah,
like,
and Scientology.
Man, well,
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're starting it.
We got to
so-
do that because this shit is hilarious.
Yeah, we need some light stuff too.
Just because I think we should talk about it more often.
Yeah, and no one gets. I mean, people get mad if we laugh at victims. People won't get mad if we get
Laugh at Randy Quaid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's never ending. It's always
They're always going to be doing some gnarly shit.
I mean, unless money doesn't ruin people ever again, or cause them to do bad things, that just stops. So
It's an endless well of material.
I can't wait. 2000. I was gonna say 17, but fuck my life drugs. 2018 coming soon.
Celebrity podcast.
Woo!
So that's it. Yeah, that was the last one.
That was good. You killed it.
Thank you, man. That was fun.
That was awesome. I'm so
we
proud
gotta
of
find
you.
more of those. You found some awesome ones.
Thanks.
That's your new job. Next couple weeks, you gotta find some more.
I got more. Don't look at the name, but I got like 4 more that I'm ready for because
You're already covering your
so
papers.
excited.
You don't even have anything. All right, that's going to be it. So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Murder Dictionary Podcast. If you haven't already followed us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, go ahead and check those out. If you haven't left a review on iTunes or rated and subscribed and all that good stuff, we would appreciate that as well. And we wanted to thank our new Patreon supporters again, Pippa, Velville, Culture Queen, Amanda, and again, Mike Brown from Pleasing Terrors podcast, which is really awesome. And we suggest you listen to Pleasing Terrors. It's really rad.
I suggest you go listen to a Lil' Kim album too.
That too. That's our recommendations for the week. So
Yeah.
we've got Lil' Kim, we've got
Mike.
Clay Pigeons, and Pleasing Terrors.
Pleasing Terrors.
Check them out. That's your assignment.
Woo!
And I think that's going to be it. We got to get going and do some true crime and chill time.
Yeah, I have a lot of under boob sweat, so it's going to be, we're going to have to.
LA is hot as fuck right now.
Yeah, our spoons are going to be spread apart.
Very slippery spoons tonight.
I'm like that spoon in the Matrix that bends.
That just bends.
Yeah.
Melty spoon.
Yeah, let's go play Melty Spoon. True crime and chill and Melty Spoons.
Bye.
Bye. Imagine being accused of a horrible crime that you know you didn't commit. That's in episode 1. Imagine your child's killer is still on the loose, but the authorities keep saying they don't suspect foul play. That's in episode 4. Or imagine that you've spent 17 years in prison, only to then be fully exonerated due to advances in science. That's episode 10. My name is Jillian, and my podcast is Court Junkie, where I cover criminal trials and court cases and conduct interviews with those close to the case. Check out Court Junkie, available now everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Good call on McDonald's for lunch.
Yeah, let's eat.
Okay, we have the oh yeah for me.
Can you hand me my
Yep, and here are a couple of woot-woots to share.
I love my woo!
Oh, sounds like Stacy went to McDonald's too.
For a limited time, grab a hot and spicy McChicken and small fries for just $3 at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
And now, a thought from Geico Motorcycle.
It took 15 minutes to take a spirit animal quiz online.
Please be the cheetah. Please be the cheetah.
And learn your animal isn't the cheetah, but the far less appealing blobfish.
Oh, come on.
To add insult to injury, you could have used those 15 blobfish minutes to switch